Well, today I've got my jab. It's a good and bad day, as are all days, because I've got my jab, which is boo, and then I'm looking after my lovely granddaughter this evening, which is yay, for a couple of hours, while her parents go crazy golf. So it's a couple of hours out for them. It's a little bit of precious time for me, but I'm constantly aware that I should be preserving my energy so that she doesn't run me ragged and I end up so I shouldn't be straightening my hair because all the arm movement, it's not good. But I mean, it's one of them things where you want to look your best at every opportunity. I've had a day of rest yesterday, stayed in bed all day. Dave kept the dogs entertained. Not sure if I've told you, we've got a new member of the family. He's called Mason. If I can show you him. There he is, look, he's a little darling, aren't you? And he is laying right next to Berto because they don't leave my side until I go downstairs, which is quite sweet. And you know, it's such comfort for me. I don't know whether they sense sometimes that I'm a bit poorly because they tend to sort of stay close when I am, and Dave has often come in and sort of been hit with a, oh, look at them, and just left us to it, and we're all asleep. I was one of these people when I was younger who was like, oh, don't let your dogs on the chair, don't let them on a settee, don't let them on your bed. But you know, they're my little loves. You know, you've got these dogs now who provide care to people with anxiety and not just blindness, but all sorts of illnesses and woes and depression, mental illnesses. So in a way, I can see how they're naturally sort of maybe they sense. They've got a different sense to the rest of us, and they sense when I'm not feeling too good. I'm actually feeling all right today. We did make the mistake on Monday of trying to walk them both together, and I said I would take Berto, the bigger one, over to the common. He's the one who's got agoraphobia, outside anxiety, hates being outside. He's just a home dog. He just wants to be indoors. We don't know what happened to him when he was a baby. This is killing my arms. But it's left him with really long-term anxiety. He's been with us a couple of years now, and it's not got any better. But we wanted to try, but as you do with a dog, you think that they naturally want to sort of be outside, but he doesn't. We tried to take him over the common. He got him, you know, I've got these special harnesses and things for him. He got himself in a complete combat roll like this on the floor, just trying to drag himself home. Even with Mason there, he just wasn't interested. So Dave took Berto home, sat and shivered for a little while, calmed him down, and we just walked Mason. So I think from now on, it will just be Mason. And the idea all along was Mason was going to help me try and get a little bit fitter, get me out, because you don't even know you've got him on the lead. He's an absolute dream to walk along with, and that will help me. Not that I'm a supporter of Get or any of the other nice recommendations about exercise, because if I noticed just on Monday when Berto pulled me slightly, my muscles straight away were absolute agony, where that the lactic acid, I just seemed to flick straight from, I just missed the aerobic part of oxygen going to my muscles straight to it not, and then goes into an anaerobic kind of form, and I just get instant pain straight away. So that's not good for me. It wasn't good for Berto, so we're not going to be doing that anymore. He's happy. He's a house dog. He'll come in the car and he'll come up to my parents' house and run around with her dog and Mason in the garden. So socially, he's fine. exercise-wise, he'll run around the garden at 3 in the morning when it's nice and quiet, which is great for me. When I can't sleep, I just go out, sit on the chair and watch him have his bit of freedom where there's no noise at all to distract him. And it's actually lovely to see him feeling brave, confident, not scared that anything's going to make him jump at any second. Oh, I'm going to regret doing this later. I know I am. I always do. But, you know, gotta have your pride, as they say. One of the things they said when I applied for my PIP payment, because Dave often helps with doing my hair, they put it down as a negative that I was well presented at the interview. I had to travel to Ilford. I was out in public. I didn't know where I was going. My husband was with me. I had my stick to help me as well. And I don't know about you or me, but I don't get out of bed looking like a scarecrow and then leave the house. No matter how ill I feel, I will try and make an effort, just like I'm doing now, even if it's just a quick bit of makeup and a hairbrush. I know some people don't. Some people look like complete tramps, but that doesn't mean they're ill. But it also, the other side of it, just because you look well doesn't mean you're ill. Now, when I read down through my first PIP refusal, it said at the bottom, she was very well presented, very well turned out, clean, made up, and dressed well. And I thought, what? You're judging me on my looks, my outside look, how I look outside. You don't see ME, or chronic fatigue, as some people still insist on calling it. It's inside, right? Now that day, and I kept trying to explain this to her, that all the effort that went into that day, the getting dressed, the travelling, the talking through it, leaving there, getting home, we didn't know where we were going. It was the next day that I would look like shit. And then she'd see what I really look like when I'm laying in bed and I've got no makeup on. I can barely talk, I can barely see, I feel like I've got flu. I mean, my mum phoned me yesterday and I felt all bunged up. When I feel bad, it's like an instant attack of flu for a day, 2, 3, 4, 5, whenever. And then it slowly wears off. So yesterday, yeah, I was talking to Mum. I was like, yeah, I'm resting today. None of that's put on. So when where was I? Brain fog. PIP. I appealed my PIP because I had fantastic letters from Dr. Weir on Harley Street on my ME, my limitations, my version of it. I had sent it obviously with the original letter, but they'd obviously not read it. So I sent it off again and I typed out a very long letter on my iPhone and I reverted back to, I tried really hard. I used to work in a court. I know how to compose a letter. I know how to compose it properly and I know how to make a point without poking someone's eye out. And I talked about how disappointed I was to see that I was being judged. The very last point was I was being judged, on my appearance on that day at what was supposed to be a medical assessment on my abilities to look after myself. She didn't ask me who dressed me that morning. She didn't ask me who helped me put my makeup on. She made a decision that I looked too well to have a PIP payment. I also explained in the letter how I used to be a successful PA/EA working in the city. I was earning 60 grand a year plus a bonus. I was loving it. I didn't have a career that I wanted to, that I thought, shall I go and sit on my arse and claim benefits? No, because you're not going to get anywhere near what you had. Even minimum wage people will not get anywhere near what they had. So where this notion comes from that's created in the media that people, oh yeah, you know, he's got his walking stick, benefit stick, or they're claiming benefits because they're poorly, but they're not really that poorly. You don't know what's wrong with them. You do not know what's wrong with them. If there are people doing it, they're not living on very much. I promise you, they are not living on very much. You want to do shopping and live properly, pay all your bills, you need a lot more than universal credit, a small wage, and a PIP payment. I'm telling you that now. Anyway, that angered me. So I wrote a letter by appeal, and I won. And not only did I win, I won both awards to the full amount. And I was elated. I knew I was right. Now, it took a lot out of me to write that letter, and it took a lot out of me to wait for it, and it took 9 months to get the back payment. So, but I got it eventually, and I'm glad I did. Now, that's enough for today. Because I can talk, I'm in one of the moods where I can talk quite a lot, and then I'll regret it later. I've got my jab later. I've got my granddaughter later. I'll update. I'm thinking about talking a lot about mitochondria and stuff like that and the energy system. But I'm not a scientist, so I don't know whether I'll do that. But I'd like to talk a lot about how I enjoyed my career and what actually my very, very first signs of what I thought was chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia or cancer or brain tumour, whatever I thought was wrong with me, which most people, when they're diagnosed, admit they've been through that whole cycle of what's wrong with me? Something's wrong with me. This isn't nothing. The doctors must be able to find something. I'd like to talk about that one day when I've got some energy. This is way too long, this video, so thanks for sticking with it, and I'll go and get my jab, see my granddaughter, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.